Hello everyone, welcome to Penelope's Pocket Flosstube. This is episode number 8. Seems unbelievable. Today is Friday, the 4th of July. I normally film on a Sunday. No, I don't actually. I put it up on a Sunday. I film on a Saturday to give myself time to do all the bits and pieces that I need to do to put it up on a Sunday. But I'm filming today because I'm hoping to go out for the day tomorrow, which I'll talk about in a minute. I thought it'd be nice to start off by saying, just thank you for coming to join me. If you're a returning viewer, I really appreciate you coming back. I'm pleased that you found somebody that you enjoy watching. And if you're a new viewer, I hope you stick around and see if you like what I do. And if you don't, that's absolutely fine, because there are so many floss tubes out there. I was watching Stitchy Sally last night and she was saying the same thing. There are so many people to watch. It's difficult to keep up. So if you're spending your time with me, I am truly appreciative that you choose to do that. I do tend to talk a lot. I don't know how long this is going to be. I haven't got a lot to share. You have an advantage over me today because you obviously can see how long it is, and I have no idea how long I'm going to be talking for. So you might be laughing, thinking it's long, Sarah. I don't know how much I'm going to find to say about the things I've got to share. I thought I would. Oh, I haven't said who I am, have I? I'm Sarah. I'm Ascanius on Instagram and Penelope's Pocket on Instagram as well. I thought I'd start off today by talking about what I'm drinking, for the simple reason of the mug. It's quite interesting when I watch people, to find out a little bit more about them, where they live, particularly when you watch people from all over the world. So I've spoken before in previous episodes about my roots. I'm from the south coast of England, from Dorset, hence my mug, specifically from Bournemouth. And I thought I'd talk about it today actually because while it says Dorset born and bred and proud of it, it wasn't Dorset when I was born there. It was Hampshire. So Bournemouth is on that presumably county divide between Hampshire and Dorset. And I haven't looked at my facts. In the 70s, they rejiggled county boundaries and actually got rid of some counties completely. So I remember as a small child learning my address as being Hampshire, and then, quite young, being told, that's not your address anymore, your address is now Dorset. Because it is on that border, those are my roots down there. All of my ancestors, for as far back as Steve has managed to trace my family tree, are all centred around the New Forest area, which is Hampshire, or East Dorset area. So it is home for me, but it hasn't been for many years because Steve and I moved here. First of all to Kingston upon Thames, which is just outside London, in 1989 I think, and then not that long after that we moved here, and I now live in a place called Hampton, and you will know it because of Hampton Court Palace, because Hampton Court Palace is just up the road from where I live. And a good moment to talk about it because Hampton was in Middlesex, and Middlesex was a county that was completely abolished during that rejig. Now, it does sort of still exist as a postal address, and Penelope, my daughter, plays county rugby for Middlesex, which technically doesn't exist, so it's a bit bizarre. And one of the reasons that I'm filming today instead of tomorrow is that I'm intending to go to the flower show at Hampton Court Palace tomorrow, which is just up the road from me. Normally I would be able to walk up there, but a bit wobbly on my feet still, so Penelope's going to go with me to assist me. My mum has insisted that I take a walking stick with me. My mum, who I cannot get to take a walking stick out with her, is insisting I take one out with me. Anyway, I might, Mum. But I'll have Penelope to hang on to. So I'll get the bus up there tomorrow. Yes, so I'm incredibly fortunate, and I know I'm incredibly fortunate because we live in a very, very beautiful part of London. It's classed as the Royal London Borough of Richmond upon Thames. Now it's no longer Middlesex, so Richmond is just up the road, and Bushy Park, which is a royal park, part of Hampton Court Palace, and Home Park, which is also part of Hampton Court Palace, and the River Thames are all within a very short walk of where I live, so I am very lucky. Yes, so that's a little bit about me and where I'm coming to you from. It's quiet out there at the moment, which would indicate to me that traffic is probably pretty bad. It used to be classed as the biggest flower show in Europe, and when we first moved here many years ago, we discovered we just couldn't leave our house for the week because the traffic was so bad. Has got better over the years. They're much better at keeping it moving, and after a first year of complaining, I decided to embrace it, and I now go nearly every year. Obviously I didn't go last year because I wasn't well, and there have been years that I've missed in the past. It's becoming biennial, so there won't be one next year, so I'm pretty determined to go tomorrow, although I've held off from buying a ticket just in case. They're very expensive. They're £38 for the day. There'll be two of us going because Penelope's coming with me, and so I thought, well, maybe we'll just go for the afternoon because perhaps I've got a full day in me anyway, and you can get entry from 3 for the afternoon, and those tickets are £30. Now, I don't think that's right, because that's not making it more affordable for anyone to experience, because that's a much shorter day for not a lot less money. So I shall bite the bullet, get the full tickets. We'll probably go early, try and beat the crowds, maybe. Anyway, mustn't buy too many plants. Right, that's enough of preamble and waffle. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, I'll have a sip of my drink, actually, I suppose. It's a mint tea, by the way, because it's very hot, and mint tea is refreshing, isn't it? And quite nice when it goes cold too. Right, what am I wearing? Okay, so you can see it's my ranunculus top that I showed last time. It's pink. I did say that I don't wear a lot of pink. I'll stand up and show you, actually, because it does go with my pink trousers that I bought. I'm just going to stand over there so you can see what it looks like. So I'm what my nan would call a vision in pink. They're very pale pink trousers. I have a grey undertop, a little thing for my arms, to cover my arms. I'm really pleased that I put this icy blue, icy grey contrast to deaden that pink. I think it actually works really well. I spoke about doing it so that I didn't run out of yarn, but for me it's a success. I think it looks quite nice. So there we go, my ranunculus that I completed since I last saw you. And as you know, I don't like leftovers. Those are my leftovers. My board here. I'm not going to lose my board today. That's all I had left over. That's one of the reasons I love this top so much. So that was one hank of, it was a Madeleine Tosh, wasn't it? I'd have to look last week to see what it was. I can't remember exactly. I think it was something I bought in the sale. So this hasn't cost me very much money, and the grey was left over from my Scout shawl that I've showed in previous episodes that I knitted. So that's a finish and what I'm wearing. It's actually been 4 weeks since my last episode. I think that was intentional actually. I felt like I needed just a little bit more time. I have been taking it easy. Feel like I haven't got a lot to show, but let's start off with what's in the bag and we'll see what I've been working on in the 4 weeks since I last saw you. So I have switched my bag. My white Gertrude bag is somewhere else. It's still got stuff in it, stuff that needs sorting out. But my bag that I have next to my stitching spot in the other room with the projects that I'm working on, I've switched to this one. Again, it's a Gertrude bag. This is from, it can't have been last year because obviously I was in hospital. It must have been the year before. I don't have these anymore. I don't think this fabric is available anymore, but it just feels just right for the summer. So I've got this one out. It's, you know, I like to put badges on. It's got an Elizabeth Harbour swallow on it, and I think there might be some stitch markers on the back of there as well. So this is the bag that I'm using at the moment, and we'll go through, it's nearly all stitching in here because it's been so hot. So I think we'll just go through one at a time. I'll just pull them out and see if I can remember what's been going on. Okay, so first of all is my knitting notebook, which I keep in there. Then I have my book of days, which is always in there. I'll show it to you this time because I have just stickered up July. And obviously I stitch nearly every day or knit every day, even if it's only just a row. So I fill in what I'm doing. So that's my book of days. I write other things in there as well, which is why I don't always show it. Because it's almost a bit like a diary for me now. Okay. So I think I've shared this on Instagram, so if you follow me there you'll know what's in here. And she went in here because she matched. So I've been talking about I was talking about buying Lily and then starting Lily since I began this Flosstube. And she is now started, and here she is. So she's not much to look at the moment. But there's my start on Lily. Is she focusing? So I am stitching this on the leftover fabric from my Crown Swan drum, which is Iced Rose from number 12 Stitch Co. 36 count. So I'm very grateful that Nicola sent me a big enough bit. Well, if you remember, I made an over one pin disc rather than the top for the drum. So I did have enough left over, and I think I've got enough here for her to be backed in the Iced Rose as well. I'm using the core. I know a lot of people have made Lily their own by changing the colours. I'm using the called for colours, more or less. And the dress is red pear. It's really lovely actually. It's got some lovely variegation on it. And I think it looks really nice on this linen. Look at her spotty legs there. I have changed a couple of colours. That lace at the bottom of the dress is not called for, and I'm using that bluey colour. What colour is that? Dolphin. And she has a sash. Maybe I should show the pattern. Yeah, she has a sash. So there, the sash is the darker red and like a beigey colour, the same as the beigey lace at the bottom of the dress, but my lace will be the blue. And I have a feeling that I've changed the colour of her throat as well. Mainly, probably because I didn't have it. and I can't remember what I've chosen. Probably this one, Shabby Sheep, which is a whitey colour. I'll decide when I get there. Quite often, I know a lot of people stitch the outline of these and then fill in, and that is something that I do, but she is super easy. She's at this stage much easier than some of the others that I've done, which have patterned dresses, because you're leaving gaps for the contrasting pattern, whereas this is really just straight backwards and forwards. I might actually now do a bit of an outline, because it's getting to that point where it steps in and out at different stages on different sides. But I've been enjoying that, you know, it's I don't need magnification with it or anything, and I'm loving stitching on that. So that's been a start. Ooh, look at me, determined not to lose my board. I'm actually putting it in the project bag. That is how I'm going to lose it. So that's been a start in the last 4 weeks. And the first thing coming out of the bag. Next up. Well, this one has been a very recent start, actually. This is the French, not my thing, remember? Actually, Lily's definitely a French frog. She's in my Sajou bag. And this is the So Idea Black Rooster Summer Sal, which Michelle from Mama Loves You GB talked about on one of her floss tubes, and I had a look at it. And then I've seen a few people start it on Instagram, and I've never done a sal before, and it's free, and I thought, well, I just fancy doing it, so I've started it, and I have done week 1. The parts come out on Saturday, and this is the first week, and so I'll show you where I am with this. So this is, it's got the label on it so I can be accurate. This is 40 count antique lace by Seraphim, and this is the piece that I cut off of Martha Pudsey. I measured it and checked the details of the sal, and so it should fit. I've seen other people stitching it on much bigger bits of linen. I'm assuming it's long and narrow. It must be long and narrow unless I've made some sort of error. So I'm using the just the called for DMC, most of which I had. There's not many of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 there, and there's a slip of paper in one of those because one of the colours is in another project, so when I come to that colour I know where to find it. So I've been enjoying that actually, and that was really doable in a couple of evenings, and I'm liking the element of surprise, which I've been carrying my threads, and you can see it there. Hopefully when I finish it you won't see it. Anyway, I'm not stopping and starting every single letter. There, so that's been a start since I last saw you. That is in my Scottish sampler bag because I've run out of project bags. Next, what do I have next? And my strawberry stitching bag is in here. I talked about my stitch strawberries for Wimbledon plans last time. That was 4 weeks ago, and I have stitched some strawberries actually, but I haven't done anything that's in this bag. I do really want to do that Gerda Bengston wild strawberry, and might actually start that this afternoon. I might put Wimbledon on this afternoon and actually start stitching that one. So that's in there, but I haven't done anything. There's nothing to show you in that bag that I've actually done since I last saw you. I have stitched, just last night actually I got this out. This is, let me show you. This was a gift from Trisha, and thank you again so much Trisha for this fantastic gift that came from the attic, which made it super special. It was from, would it have been summer school last year, and it was one of the projects from Needlework Press, and Tricia said it made her think of me, and she sent it to me out of the kindness of her heart, and it very, very, very much appreciated. And I started it almost straight away, and this is the first time I've picked it up for a while, and it's got a strawberry border, so I thought, yeah, I'll definitely work on the strawberry border. So I did some of this last night. This is Sarah Pugh 1822. Love the way that it rhymes. It has the most appropriate, fabulous verse on it, which I'll read to you. It says, thanks to my friends, for so I have reason, for giving me learning in due time and season. And I have decided to change the word learning to comfort, because I can't get through what I'm needing to go through without my friends and the comfort and support that they give me. So this is a really special project to me, and I'll show you where I am with it. She sent me the threads as well, so all the threads are all called for colours, and it is stitched on the called for fabric, because I think it was a class kit. It's Fox and Rabbit baked clay 36 count, and this is where I am with it. It's tiny, but it has a lot of over one. So here we go. The colours, look at the colours of those strawberries. Those strawberries are really strawberry-like in colour. So I started this one off by doing the border like I normally do. It doesn't meet here. That's Sarah's fault. The other Sarah, not my fault. And that's, that's great. We all make mistakes on borders. Look at these little, it's got little tiny over one strawberries at the top here. All of this area down the bottom here is over one. I started putting in this bit here. What I do is I do a thread of over two and a thread of over one. You can't possibly leave, well, I couldn't possibly leave all the over one till last. So all of these flowers along the bottom here are all over one. All of these motifs along the bottom are over one. One of these lines here is over one. You don't actually have to stitch it over one. There's two charts in here, and one of them is all over two. I quite like over one, so why not? So I'm really enjoying working on this. And yes, we're stitching strawberries last night. There are other things in this bag as well that Tricia also very kindly sent me, which I'm not going to go through now, but another time. There are lots of lovely projects in here that she so kindly sent, and from the attic. Exciting. This bag I called Rachel Howells. This is from years ago, because I specifically made this bag to house Rachel Howells when I was stitching her. Not because it matched her or anything, but just because. Fabulous fabric, really lovely. No longer available, and it has a flying, well, actually, what is he? A crane, I suppose. Gold lining. So that's had some work, and I'll continue with that, finish that straw border at the very least, and get a few more of those over one threads in. I've not been working on very much. I've had some lovely, it's called Stitchy Kindness, isn't it, from a viewer who asked if she could send me something. We've been chatting a bit through email, and I said yes, of course. And she sent me a chart, and it's a great chart, and it is Lydia Corker 1803, and it's a sampler sewing roll by Stacey Nash. Now this is from a lady called Wendy who lives in Wales, so she's a UK stitcher, And yeah, so kind. Love Stacey Nash. She stitched this herself. She's pointed out to me it's a piece that doesn't need framing, so it's great, and it has a use at the end of it. It's a really lovely chart, and really really lovely colours. So I've kitted it up basically. So these are the colours. They're very faded and muted, actually, which is I think it's just DMC. I'm not going to take it down and check. I think it might have been just DMC. If it's not just DMC, I'm just doing the DMC colours. A little bit of darky green colour there, and I went through my fabrics and I pulled out a 36 count Eastwick from Needle and Flax. It's a fat quarter. It needed to be quite big. It's quite big. I could have got it on a smaller piece if it had been 40 count, but I really liked this piece of fabric because it's really, really old and grungy looking, and with those very muted, faded colours, I think that's going to look great, actually. So, so I had fun. Yeah, that's a lovely. It's a lovely colour, isn't it? You're not going to be able to tell with the colours in the plastic bag, but I think it's going to be really nice. And I had fun kitting it up. I like kitting things up, hunting through my fabrics, finding things, looking for all the threads, and finding an appropriate bag. A completely and utterly inappropriate bag, but a rather fab one. This is from a while ago. I think I had these in two colours, a pale blue and this grey. I had to keep one. I am a dog lover for sure. And Wendy and I have bonded over dogs, so it seemed appropriate. Also in here is something that Wendy made for me. I have asked if I can show it because, again, I'm so touched. She stitched me this lovely bag. And she said she did it well, sort of freehand. We've got some Welsh words in here. My daughter can understand a bit of Welsh. She has a Welsh friend. We think this, well, Isabel says this means sweetheart type thing. I can't say the words. Some of them don't have vowels. This is the most bizarre thing for me. And of course, poor Wendy couldn't just do the breast cancer logo because I don't just have breast cancer. So she had to do both sides, so she did the other side as well. So double the work for Wendy, and so much appreciated and so special. And it's in this bag at the bottom here. I don't think it's showing it here. I don't know how to say it. It has the word quitch, CWOTCH, which means hug. And inside the bag is a hug, a little wooden heart hug. So very special. And as I said, I checked with Wendy that I could talk to you. I had a lovely card and some stickers for my book of days as well. So thank you so much, Wendy. It's super appreciated and kitted up, not started. Don't know when I'll start it, but it is in my bag and it's planned. So we'll start it for sure. And a useful object when it's done. So there's only one thing left in here now, and I've been working on this a lot. I think I worked on this for a full 3 weeks, virtually every day. Let's see if you can tell that I have actually made some progress. I'll talk about this for a little bit. So this is my Parrot Leopard Lion by Scarlet Letter. I have been working on this since 2020, I suppose. It's a big project. I've shown it here last time, I think. And here I am. Here I am today. So, what to say? I've done a lot on it. As I said, I've stitched on this every day for about 3 weeks. I have almost finished filling in the lion. Not quite. There are counting errors in this. This was an early on counting error where I went over either one thread instead of two or three threads instead of two, a right mess. And I don't unpick. I should count how many times I say that in these episodes. I don't unpick, so I have just made it work. And so filling him in has been a bit of a challenge, because sometimes and I'm using two threads, which is not as easy, is it? It's not as easy stitching with two threads as it is with one, but you get slightly better coverage. I like the texture that it's giving with using two threads. So sometimes my two threads are going on an elongated cross of 2 over 2 one way and one in height, and then the stitch next to it might be 3 in height one way and 2. It is a mess. But look, can you see that? No. And this, I have a place for this in my house. This is going to go above my fireplace in my main living room. You are not ever going to see the mistakes that I have made in this. It really doesn't matter to me. I just knew that I had to be careful where I count from. Now, to continue on from there, since you saw this last time, I put in this berry. This flower here wasn't finished, so I finished doing the outline here, and it didn't meet that branch. So I already had that bit, and I had one element of the parrot's wing there. Could I see where the mistake was? I could not. Was I going to unpick? Obviously not. So I thought to myself, I am going to have to get the parrot in and see if it meets up at the top. See if it matters. See if that mistake matters. So again, since you saw this last time, after putting in that berry, after discovering this doesn't work, I did the parrot here and got it back down to here, and do you know, it's going to be okay. The parrot is as he should be, so I can fill him in without having any of the issues that I've had with this fellow down here. This is as it should be. There's something not quite right here. It's just a branch. I will fudge it when I get there. And so after doing that, I thought to myself, right, I better check that it matches up over this way. So then I started going over this way and got this motif in. And I knew that I could count off of here. I can't count off of this bit because it's a mess. I can count off of here. So it works. And I thought to myself, well, before I put it down, I'll just fill that in. Oh, my goodness me, there's a lot of stitching in there. I did not. Is it focused? Is it focusing on me? I did not finish stitching that. And in fact, looking at it now, there's still quite a lot of stitching to go in there. But isn't it stunning? Well, I think it's stunning. And there's still... I filled in some of the bottom bit as well, just the odd thread here and there. Been working on that bright blue flower in the middle. That wasn't quite done, still not quite done. I feel like picking it up again now, actually. But there's a lot to do. I ought to show you the pattern. You can see there's you know, that's a big old motif there. The parrot's big, so there's still quite a lot to do on it, but I love it. Love the texture of the 2 over 2 or 2 over 1.5 or whatever it is I've been doing. But there we go, that's my parrot leopard line. I jump around terribly. You might see this again next time. I might still be obsessed with it and might have finished that motif, or I might have actually just done something completely different. see how the mood takes me. So that's it. That's my stitching, because that has taken a lot of my time. Up to half an hour. And an empty bag. Now, knitting. I have done a bit of knitting. You can imagine not a lot, because it's been very hot here, actually. We're very fortunate that the downstairs part of our house is quite cool, particularly when the heat first begins to rise. As the days progress and the days and nights are hot continually, the downstairs does tend to warm up a bit. But certainly in the first few days of heat, it's almost as if we have air conditioning inside. It's that cool. In fact, I needed a shawl. Well, it was a barn. Hopefully that explains that. I think there's soil underneath the floorboards basically, so it is basically is a very cool house in the summer, freezing in the winter. So I have been doing a bit of knitting, and I've been working on my bear pullover. So I thought you might like to see where I am with this. My lovely Isabel bag. I've made some more of these actually. I'll show them when I do the bag updating them. I'm loving using my bag. So here we go. I think last time I showed you, I had, because it's got waist shaping, I think I was just on the increase, and had talked about the fact that it was difficult to put down because I was enjoying seeing how the colours worked together. And now it's difficult to put down because I've got onto the Fair Isle bit at the top, and it's exactly the same thing. It's really interesting seeing how the colours work together. A little bit of detail on construction. I know lots of you are not knitters, some of you are. So this is it's much easier. A lot of people find it much easier to just knit and don't enjoy purling. And Fair Isle, when you knit it, you just knit round and round basically. There is purling in this because it's lace, not Fair Isle. So you get to this stage here. That's obviously for under my arm. It's a cropped sweater. That's obviously for under my arm. And you're dividing the front and the back. But you actually cast on some stitches. So you've joined the front and the back. And this is called a steek. And it enables you to continue to knit round and round, so you don't have to purl, which makes the knitting that little bit speedier. When you can see, I've been shaping it as well, so that the steek stays the same. I think it's about 9 stitches, and then you decrease here to get your shaping here. When I get to a certain point, then I'll start shaping for the neck, and you'll see how that works as well. But ultimately, when it's finished, you actually take your scissors and you cut this open to create your armhole, and then fold it back on itself, making like a little seam, and then you pick up stitches to all the way around, including these live ones down here, to knit your sleeve. So the construction's interesting. It's going to be super warm because obviously you're using double yarn, because they are going in front of and behind each other the whole time. I talk a lot about mistakes I've made. I think I've made a mistake in my colours, because I thought my main colour was going to be the jade green and you needed 2 balls. I have run out of this rusty red colour, for which I have 1 ball. So I think I've got my contrast colours mixed up. It doesn't matter, I like it, and that's where we are with it. But there's a there's a rusty row coming in next, and I can't do it because I've run out of yarn, so I've had to order another ball. So that's stopped. Not that I shall be wearing that anytime soon. I'll show you the pattern. I've shown it before. It's true. These colours are wild. There's nothing subtle about this at all. There's nothing subtly Fair Isle about that or that. But it is very 70s, and it's a 70s pattern. Love it. And I think I will do the balloon sleeves. And as it's going to be a hot sweater because of all this, it's all thick at the top. I probably will do polo neck on it as well. I like a polo neck. So that's my knitting, and that's all I've been doing. I haven't done any other knitting, no sock knitting, nothing. Be enjoying that though. On hold now till I get another ball of the yarn. But knitting is very, all these crafty things very similar to each other. It's pretty much like when you're working on a sampler and you just want to get in the next motif to see what it looks like next to each other, or the next colour. And knitting's the same. I'm really enjoying that because I just want to see what the next colour looks like. How is it going to work and how is it going to progress? And it just sort of keeps you enthusiastic and it keeps you going. So that's the knitting that I've been doing. Right, notebook. So what's in the bag? Oh, bag update. We're talking about bags. Why don't I show you what will now be on the website? So, quick sip. Now, I've talked about the Alice in Wonderland Rifle Paper Company fabric before, about how it comes and goes, and I have managed to source some, and I sourced a bit, so there will be a few of them, but I haven't got enough lining. So I got the fabric, but I've run out of the lining. So there are only 2 in this update, 1 in each colour. So I'll show you the first one. The first one is the Periwinkle Blue. I'm not going to, I think these are just going to fly. Periwinkle Blue Alice with her periwinkle blue lining. This is a lining that I had from last time that I made these bags. It is a Rifle Paper Company one. It's not one in production anymore. I found one which is pretty similar. It's still this periwinkle blue. It's a different pattern on it. I think it's going to look great with them. I've ordered it and I will make some more for next time. But this time, that one. And I also have a navy one as well. I don't know which I prefer. I do love that periwinkle blue, but she's so smart. A gold glimmering away. And this is again a Rifle Paper Company lining, but an old one, and I can't get that anymore. And I've ordered something different for the next ones that I make. So just 2 of those available on the website now. Bags. So I've had a few people ask about Christmas bags. I love Christmas stitching. I love everything about Christmas. I love Christmas bags, Christmas fabrics. I've got lots of fabrics. And so I thought, well, I'll just make some Christmas bags each update. So this time we have Christmas kitties. I've shown all these on Instagram. I'll just quickly show them now. There's the kitty in the stocking, the pink tassel. One of the very first times I've ever used a white zip, actually, because that is white. And then the back is a different design, a different manufacturer, but I thought they looked really good together. Actually, we have gingerbread kitties with candy canes, and of course we have, oh gosh, the cutest little thread of a kitty. It's the lights reflecting on it, but you get the idea. I was really quite pleased with how they matched up across the zip there. Super cute. So that's that one, a bit of Christmas. A bit of vegetable gardening. Why did I make vegetable bags? I've no idea. I just really loved this fabric. So we have some vegetable, what do I call it? Probably vegetable garden. Again, Caroline bag. All your vegetables. I don't know. I do love gardening. I don't grow vegetables. We used to have a little greenhouse out there. I used to grow tomatoes. I haven't done that for many years. Are your vegetables growing well this year? I feel that we haven't had the rain, have we? Last year too much, this year not enough. There we go. Vegetable garden and a... Where are we? Oh, there goes Una. Garlic. Garlic thread keep. Vegetable garden. There we go. Oh gosh, I'm so tempted to keep one of these. I love this. Look at those sardines. I loved both colours, so I thought, well, let's just put them both on one bag. There we go. That is a 100% silk yarn from years ago. It was a Rowan one. You can see it glowing and shimmering. Yeah, looks really good with that. And of course a thread keep. Feels very summery. Sorry about the squeaking dog. I think it's the postman. She loves the postman. And then they take me so long to make, those Caroline bags, because I quilt them and hand stitch them. It's always fiddly working with the vinyl and everything. So there's just those three, and then I couldn't resist getting out that fabric because it just seemed so seasonally appropriate. It's been super hot. Gosh, would I like to be sat there right now. Cornwall, I think. Really lovely fabric. Sometimes a bag just works. I think that just really works. What it does for me anyway. And the lining as well. With the sailboats. There. And there were lots of choices for tassels, but I don't know, I just felt that that ivory sort of, that's an alpaca one, that one. Just looked really great. I had a few problems making the thread keep because it was so hot. I need to, the glue was just immovable. But it's a little sailboat thread keep with it. There we go. So, I was going to say that's it. That's not it, because I've done some Isabel bags as well. This is the last of this particular Cantha quilt. I don't have another in the wings at the moment either. I've not been able to source one that I feel will work or that I like enough. So here we go with these ones at the moment. This one is, well, let's do it in numerical order. Number 17. Really, this is so, this is the quilt that I've used already, so you know, I've already spoken about the fact it is very worn, it's very faded, but gosh, I love it. They've all got this Tula pink lining in them. I think it looks really good. On this one here, which is number 17, I think it's just completely as it is. It's very worn, it's very faded, it's got lots of these long bits. It's funny, every time I'm working on them, I think, oh, look at that long thread. I haven't left any long threads, or at least I hope I haven't. I've put a bit of interfacing in the tops of these ones as well, which I don't always do. I'm not sure. My one doesn't have interfacing, it's just, yeah, so a bit of experimenting. So the tops on these ones are a bit thicker, but there we go, that's that one. This is the other side of the quilt. This one here is number 16. So this is the sort of pinky greeny side of the quilt. And this is pieced by me. And again, I've done something a bit different because I have pieced it here. They're both both sides, the front and the back, are both pieced, and I've top stitched it as well, which I haven't done before, so I'm always fiddling around changing things. It's got such a sweet little patch here, and it also has a little tiny patch here, original to the quilt, and obviously that same lining. And the last one, this is number 18. This is also pieced by me. I think I've pieced it here. Have I pieced it here? Yes, got a bit of top stitching there. Has the same lining. The other side is not pieced, it's one bit, but look at that fabulous patch. And a little bit of one there as well. Gosh, I love these bags. I really hope I manage to find another quilt that, I mean, they're out there. I'm just a bit fussy, I think. I haven't seen any that I really like. At the right price as well. You know, I can't charge too much for these, so it's got to be the right price and it's got to be the right look, and I've got to feel that I can get enough out to make it, yeah, to make them the right price. So that's the bag update. They will already be on the website. Right, I need to have a drink. I hope you're chilled, enjoying your stitching or whatever craft you're doing, and listening to me waffle on. What's going to come next? I think it's going to be, what have I been buying? Not a lot, actually. Right. I have bought and it's a while ago, so I need to think about what I'm talking about. From Evertote, which I've never bought from before, I have bought the Modern Folk Embroidery Quintessential Frisian Smalls. Is it a sal? Have I actually bought another sal? I think it starts a bit later in the year. Anyway, I watched Jacob, he talked about it, I looked into it, and well, I've lots of people talk about the Roxy Flosco threads. I've never used them, and yeah, I just thought, well, I will. So I ordered the pattern from Evertotes, which came as a PDF as well, but this is the booklet. I think you may well know a lot more about this than me. I think that Jacob is going to go through it bit by bit, and the making of them. I haven't read the book yet. There's lots of information here. It looks great. I've got no fabric chosen. That will come later. There's some really, I'm into doing little things like this at the moment. I think that's going to be fun. So I'm running out of bags. This is my this is a Blackbird Design bag from a while ago. It doesn't even have a tassel, look. Shoemaker's children are always the worst shod. I didn't even have a thread keep, but I had some spare fabric, so I made myself one. And I bought the fallow red to stitch them. Yeah, I just need to find some fabric. I mean, fabric will be easy, won't it, really? Just be a question of what count. What a gorgeous red. Right, so I bought that, and you can't just buy that, can you, from Canada? So I haven't tried threads before. Everybody says they're good, so I thought, well, I'll get some others. So I also bought Verlander, because I would like to do a Verlander sampler at some stage. I had a look through the Modern Folk Embroidery website, and Jacob is really good at saying how much floss you need for the project, and so I mean, I don't want to do massive projects, So I worked out that a lot of the ones that I quite liked, even if I don't stitch one of his and I do something completely different, seem to use this sort of like a maximum of 5. So I've got 5 of those, that colour. I hear a lot talked about this colour, which is chalkboard. So I got 5 of those as well. I don't know what I'd use that for, but that's a very bluey black and it's rather gorgeous. So maybe that would be a Quaker, I don't know. So I bought those. And then there was a sale section and I bought some of those as well. Some of all these colours. Never really done anything like this before. I usually just buy called for colours for things. But I'll tell you what was going through my mind. When I chose those, I was thinking about this Mason linen that I won from Katie Strachan. And I was thinking about, there's a Brenda Gervais chart that a lot of people have been stitching. Is it called Be Kind? No, I don't know what it's called. I can't get it anyway. It's out of stock everywhere that I've looked. But I was sort of thinking that, yeah, these colours on this linen, that might be it's a small sampler. So that's what was going through my mind when I bought that, along with that piece of linen, which I was very excited to win in that giveaway and would like to make use of. So that's what I've been buying. There we go. Oh, and I've sort of bought something else. I have jumped in and I have bought myself a place on the Stitch Chili Day at the Stitchery Sisters in, is it Northamptonshire? I saw it on Instagram, and I've spoken in previous episodes about liking the idea of doing a retreat, feeling a bit nervous, not knowing if I'd feel well enough. This one is in October, I think maybe October the 25th. I feel I should be all right then, and it's a day, and it's not impossible for me to get there and back in a day. But I spoke to Steve and he said, well, maybe we'll go and we'll stay. It's not a long day. I think might actually only be 10 till 3 or something. So it just felt very doable. I love Stacey Nash. Wendy, you know who you are. Hoster Wendy. I'll call you Hoster Wendy. I don't know if you watch me, Wendy, but you stitched Chili and he hadn't been on my radar till you showed him. And I really like him with his little accompanying snowman. So I thought, yes, I would really like to do that. I think you get all the bits as part of the day. So I booked it. So that is something that I have bought, and I would love to know if anybody that I know is going. So if you're going, perhaps you could let me know, and it would be really nice to know somebody else who's there. So I'm quite excited about that. And I'm classing that as something that I've bought because I've spent money on it. So that's a purchase. Well, leading on into that, I've done some work on my collar box. Now that I'm actually going to potentially take it somewhere. So I've shown this before. This was an idea courtesy of Sarah on Instagram. I've talked about it before. We don't need to labour over that. So I've made some things for it. I've made some things for it since I last was here. So I started off by making a padded base for it. There we go. So that's obviously a piece of fabric that I have hand quilted, and it just fits in the base perfectly. and I put obviously some binding around the edge. I don't know if you can see, I used a white silk just to do some hand quilting on it. And are you ready? Because he makes me smile so much, he had to go on the back. I had to piece that because I had some left over from the bags that I made, but not enough for the width of the box, so it's pieced. But yeah, he, as you know, brings the biggest smile to my face. And colour-wise, I mean, stylistically, it couldn't be more wrong, but colour-wise, he's perfect. And of course, I could always put it the other way up. But the idea is it's that way up. It's far more tasteful. So, as the beginnings, I have added my Morclin Ware tartan Morclin Ware needle holder. I mean, I was trying to think of things that you need to take with you to these things, but I think it's just going to be pretty stuff basically. So I have a needle in there at the moment because I'm running low on needles. So that is now that's now in there, rolling around. I showed that came with it. There's nothing in there. I think that might get filled up with sherbet lemons or something, but that's in there. And then I have been stitching some strawberries, and these are the strawberries that I stitched, and I stitched them specifically for this box. This is courtesy of Nikki on Instagram. I haven't asked her if I can share her name. Nikki, you made these some time ago, and so they were on my radar. And then Britta, you showed the strawberry, and I thought, oh, I've downloaded that pattern, I need to make those. So this is a free pattern. They're called petite. They can't be called petite smalls, can they? Because that's what petite means. What are they called? Petite stitches? Oh, Sarah, can't remember. I did write it down. I don't know, it's not there. Anyway, there's 3 of them. How am I going to show these? Well, maybe individually. So there's a little collection, Pinebury Lane freebies. That's the first one. There's a little pin cushion of a shoe. I just used, I stitched them all in silk. They're just all bits of silk from my stash. I put my initials on the back of that one. This one is filled with sawdust. I guess it probably should have a few pins in it, but I went through those mother of pearl buttons of my grandmother's, and I don't know, can you get the right way around? There is one there at the front. Is it focusing? Come forward a bit. It's so tiny. Look at it. I mean, that is so tiny. And the one underneath it is actually engraved. So I just picked out some particularly pretty ones and stuck them on just for a bit of... Can you see the... Oh, there it is. Just catching the light. Look, it's actually carved around the holes there. Yeah, like a little star. But they're so tiny. That one there is so tiny. So that was fun. Not so fun to make. They're a bit fiddly. So that was the first bit. Then, so this is part of my stitched strawberries. This is another part of the pattern. I don't know if it's my glasses or if it's not focusing. Focusing on me. That looks a bit better. Again, silk from my stash. Did I put the year on the back of that one? A little bit of lay dots of create. I ummed about that trim, but in the end I decided that I did like the trim on it, so I stuck that around the edge. And I filled this one with lavender, so when I opened the box I just got a whiff of it. Then it's nice. So that's that one, and then the third part of the pattern is the strawberry. So I stitched the strawberry as well. So there's the strawberry. That was a bit fiddly. This was the tiniest little scrap of fabric. I mean, it really does use up, because I keep everything, it really does use up those tiny scraps. I might not have cut it quite as tight as I should have done. I mean, if you do this on a you know, like a 40 count, it would be tiny. I think this must be 32 maybe. And this bit of ribbon was a bit left over from my my velvet strawberries that I showed last week. I just kept all the scraps and it just seemed to be enough just to go around the top there. So I've made some things for my retreat box, and that was my stitched strawberries for Wimbledon and some finishes as well. So I don't quite sure how I'm going to stop them from all rolling around inside. I need a tape measure. I've got a little tin somewhere as well with some beeswax in it. I've discovered that everything that goes in here has to be really tiny. So I have a tiny tin, I have a tiny bit of beeswax. So these are the things that I'm going to add. How I'm going to stop it from all rattling around in there, I don't know. But I'm really enjoying adding things to my collar box. So there we go. That's that bit there talked about. Okay. So garage finds. I've talked about the fact that we're clearing our garage because we're rebuilding it. Well, we're rebuilding the bottom part of the garage and we're putting a little bit of accommodation on the top, about which there will probably be more to follow in the future. If you like the idea of coming to stay in Hampton, maybe. And I've been having garage finds because there's been stuff out there for years, and I found this book. I don't know what it was doing out there. And I have really enjoyed looking at it. I think it potentially was in a bag. Sorry, the light, I'm looking a bit dark, aren't I? I think it was potentially in a bag to go to a charity shop or something and somehow ended up in the garage. Am I the only person that puts stuff out for charity, puts it in the boot of the car, doesn't make it to the charity shop and then just sticks it in the garage? I know I'm not actually. I have a friend that does the same thing, and then it never gets there. I think that's how that ended up in the garage. I think possibly my sister-in-law gave it to me many years ago. It was published in '97. I probably didn't really read it at the time because that's when my kids were very small. I didn't really have time for reading back then, but I have been reading it now, and you know, it's a really great book. I absolutely highly recommend it. This lady, Maggie Lane, is obviously an academic and really knows her subject. The reason I have found it incredibly interesting is that it is about Jane Austen's world. So it talks about not just about her and her novels, but what life was like at the time, what society was like at the time, what the church was like at the time, farming. It does talk about Jane Austen and her family and her brothers, but it also talks about Bath, Hampshire, what daily life was like, what housekeeping was like, what health was like and what remedies people had when they were ill, what education was like, what it meant to be accomplished. There's a bit on needlework. In fact, I found this super interesting because this is a quilt that Jane and her mother and Cassandra made, and I recognise these fabrics, and I have used these fabrics, and one of them I've shown here a few times. Can't see it there now. So that made me realise that they were actually copied from that quilt, that range of fabrics, and a lot of you quilters probably will have known that. So I've been working my way through this. There's a section on music, dancing, courtship, poetry, games, the royal family, the aristocracy. It paints a picture of particularly the Regency part of England and what life in general was like. And if you're interested in stitching samplers and history, in fact this morning I was saying to my husband, you really need to read this, because there's a section on the army, the navy, the war with France, the Napoleonic Wars, and each section is just a double page spread, and it's concise, and it's making connections in my head, it's making links across information that I already knew but hadn't really quite understood how it all slotted together. I highly recommend it. I did my Googling. You can still pick this up in the UK for a few pounds on one of those book websites. It's obviously been published or printed many times, and I do highly recommend it. And it is the anniversary of Jane Austen's death. Is it death this year? I think it is. So that got me thinking, my garage find, because a long time ago I started a modern folk embroidery Jane Austen cross stitch, and I thought, I wonder where that is. It's shameful. I don't even know if I should show it. I'm going to call it a bag of shame. It is a bag of shame. I found the bag. I'll quickly show you. So this is right at the very early part of me getting back to cross stitch, when I probably was still thinking quite a lot about needlepoint and tapestry and things like that. So I started, and I don't think I can show it to you. You might know it. It is a modern folk embroidery thing. It was a PDF download. I think it's got the words across it. I can't show you the chart. There is nothing like staying at home for real comfort. And for some, well, I've tried to explain the reason. It's the way my mind was working at the time. I'm doing it on, I think this is Zygot Platinum. It's probably a 32 count. And I'm stitching it in wool. Specifically, Appleton's, well, cruel wool, isn't it? Yeah, cruel wool. In a darker green colour. And I know what I was thinking. I was thinking that this would be a cushion for the sofa. But it's not easy stitching with that wool on linen, and I obviously stopped. But when I got it out today and thought, that is shameful, can I really show that? I noticed that it goes with the dark green of this chair, so I think I will pick it back up again and give it a go. So that was a bit of rummaging to find that as a result of the garage find. And there are other things in this bag as well that are also totally shamefully just chucked in here. I'm not going to go through it now, but look, it's got that strawberry lining. But that's from years ago. So that was prompted by my garage find, and I might try and get back to that. I'm coming close to the end now. What else have I got? Oh, I wanted to apologise about showing this book last week and saying that Mrs. Archibald Christie was actually Agatha Christie, because it's not. And I'm very grateful to Carol to telling me that it's not. Perfectly understandable that the person who told me it was thought it was. I think I explained that she stitched something from the V&A from 20 plus years ago. So, things get lost in the mists of time, don't they? But I do usually do my research, and I hadn't in that case. But I have now, because Carol told me who she thought it was. And I had a look on the V&A website. And it's Mrs. Archibald Christie, who's actually Christie. Have I got that right? I haven't actually written down her first name. I think it was Grace anyway. Carol, tell me. So I had a look at the V&A website, and these are words lifted exactly from there, and I'm going to read them out because I thought it was really nice actually. So Mrs. Christie was an embroideress, teacher and author, and was the first teacher of embroidery at the Royal College of Art. So she was quite an important embroideress. She encouraged the study of historical examples, and in her own work she continued the English traditions of accurately reflecting nature and of technical virtuosity. One of the most striking characteristics of her work is the use of contrasting textures. So that's a little bit about Mrs. Grace Christie, not Mrs. Agatha Christie, but she obviously was a very important lady. To be the first embroidery teacher at the Royal College of Art, I'm sure that absolutely meant something. And as I spoke about last week, it is a fantastic book, and I still highly recommend it. So that's a bit of clarification on that one. Because I thought this was going to be short, not so terribly short, I can see now. I thought I'd show something from the diorama, which I haven't done for a long time. So this is a previous finish and something from the diorama. And this is Florence May Piggin. And it is a chart from Whilst Iris Naps. And I did this in, well, as you might have realised by now, I do date things. So I did my initials, the S and the P in the blue, and I did 21 in blue. So I did this in 2021, and I stitched this on a piece of Weeks Dye Works 46 count. This is the first time I ever used 46 count. It was called Confederate Grey. I don't believe it's called that anymore, but that's what it was called at the time. And I used a very bizarre thread, which I would not recommend. I used this Ito silk thread, which I bought from Loop London. Can you see it gleaming? It's like, it has no twist. Do we call that a filament silk? I don't know what we call that. It's got no twist on it. It's super, super fine. See it there? I hope I'm getting the focus good this week. It was super difficult to stitch with. I don't know what the blue was. I haven't got it in blue. I bought two of them. I've got it in this colour. I've got it in a black as well, which I probably might never even use, knowing how difficult it was to use. But look at the sheen on it. It's beautiful. But it didn't, it spent all of its time curling. When I say curling, I don't mean twisting on itself. I just mean not lying flat. It just wanted to be straight all the time. But it's a lovely thing. It sits up here on the bookcase in front of some books up there. And it's stuffed with sawdust, and it's got that back that I've shown before many times. So I think that's in the diorama, and that is a previous finish. A really lovely chart actually. Oop. There we go. Okay, so we're coming really close to the end now, and we're just up to the giveaway winners. So I didn't actually hear anything about a thread winder, so I have re-picked for the thread winder. So the winner of the Saju thread winder from, I don't even know which episode it was. Well, it was a Saju episode, but I don't know which number episode it was. Is on my board. I'm making you wait. It's huge. I'm not very technically adept. There you go, Karen. How totally perfect that you have won this. Karen, I hope she won't mind me saying, was my first my very, very first ever customer on Penelope's Pocket. So she bought the first bag, the first day, the Sunday lunchtime that I released them. So I am super thrilled to be able to send you this, Karen. I obviously do have your address somewhere. I don't actually know where it would be. I think it's probably best that you email me and let me know where to send it. I'm super duper happy to send you the thread winder. My email is Sarah, SARAH, at penelopespocket.co.uk. I think there's a link on the website, so I'm easy enough to get hold of. I would say don't message me on Instagram because I'm trying to be good at the moment, but I'm not always good at keeping up with Instagram and I miss things there. So send me an email, Karen, and I'll get that out to you, and so pleased to be able to send it to you. Okay, so then I also drew 4 clothes in strength and dignity. I've got that the right way up, yep. And I am delighted to say that the winner of this chart is Loretta. Now, Loretta, I think you probably have been watching me from the beginning. I certainly hope you watch this one, so I send it out to you. And I think I know that you always comment on nearly every single episode. So again, I'm delighted to be able to send this to you. Could you please email me your address, and I'll get that in the post to you, and I hope it gives you as much pleasure stitching it and as it has me. There we go. Okay, that is it. No more waffling. We're an hour and 20 minutes, so longer than I thought it was going to be because I can talk a lot. I'm going to say see you again next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye everyone.